What's up, everyone? So, my friend and I were playing this game the other day, and I was doing their guild Shadowlands, and we were running the same comp, and I was wondering, okay, why am I doing so much less damage than on my account? Our accounts have the same comp, but my account is much more powerful due to a lot of reasons, right? And I really wanted to figure out why I'm hitting so much harder than they are when we have the same comp. Okay, so it led me to think, how free to play and how pay to win is this game when it comes to events, right? Now, if it's PvP, then you know all you need is you need levels, you need Vega, trendy Ryu, turtles, and you call it a day, right? You just win, right? So, but when it comes to bossing events, you know, there's other things that kind of influence how well you do, right? Like comp, Stellarium or Workshop, and I guess mainly, do you have Flame Chun-Li or not? So yes, this game is pay to win, but how pay to win is it? Okay, so what I have here is a spreadsheet, okay, that shows what you would do if you're free to play, how much damage you're projected to do if you're free to play, or if you spend money, or if you just have everything, and how much that it costs, right? So what I have here is, let's say you're free to play, and you're doing a bossing event, okay, and your base is like 250 million. Now it's an arbitrary number, right? But let's just be real. When you first broke the monument, all right, the first time, right, and you fought in an event, right, and whatever event that had a boss event, right, your team was really weak. You just broke the monument, and you're probably doing I don't know, 300 million, right, with your Viper team or a Guile team or your Dalsum team, right? Like you weren't hitting hard, right, because you just broke the monument, and everyone else that spent a lot of money, they're doing like 800 million. They're doing like a billion, right? But you're doing like 300 million and you're trying, right? So that's how I came with this number, okay? Now, if you look at this, right, these EXP numbers right here, 360, 480, 665, right? Now that is the cap, basically. So if you go into Limit Break, I'm at 480. Now how the Limit Break works for events is that there's a base of 240, and every 10 levels you have is one more level to your event level, right? So basically I'm 480, right? So that's 480 divided by 10 is 48. 48 plus 240 is 288. So my event levels are basically at 288. So if you look at my characters, they're level 288 right there, okay? Now, if you look at the score, and we're gonna just go off by this meta team right here, because I think that's all that matters in this game. All that matters in this game is this meta team and how well you can take advantage of this meta team, right? And when I say how well you can take advantage of this meta team, I mean it. In other words, all I need is this one team, right? And this one team can basically dominate the entire leaderboard from just this one team, which is kind of ridiculous, which I think this is why they probably nerfed Flame Chun-Li in the SEA version, right? But either way, we're gonna go off that, which is why my spreadsheet here is based off of just that team, okay? So just that team, right? If you have Flame Chun-Li, if you have everything else that supports Flame Chun-Li, is gonna be dependent on how well you do on every bossing event. All you really need is Flame Chun-Li, and you can hit top 10 very easily, right? Now, if there are multiple Flame Chun-Lis on the top 10 leaderboard, then maybe you need Vega, maybe you need turtles. Well, you can't get turtles anymore, but so it really depends on your battle group and how much of the other stuff that the other players have, right? But we're just gonna go off the Flame Chun-Li team for now, okay? Now let's look at what really matters here, okay? So we have free to play. They're probably level 360, okay? They're probably not super high in chapters. Now some are. There are many people that are, but I'm gonna say on the casual average level, right? They're probably 360 to 400, okay? And what that means is they're probably event level 270, 276, okay? And from what I figured, right, basically when I went from floor 232 to Evil Abyss, which is level 240, I got about 20% damage, okay? And now in this game, right, every level, it scales multiplicatively, okay? So it's not like a flat percentage that I got stronger by, okay? But from 20% more damage, because I didn't buff anything else I had, right? Once you go from floor 232 in Crusade to Evil Abyss, all you get is levels. You don't get anything else, okay? And from the 20% I got, it felt like that's 2% exponentially per level. So that means from floor 232 to Evil Abyss, which is 8 levels, right? Okay, well, let's look at this, 276 to 288, right? From free to play, this is 12 levels, right? Okay, and if we're counting by that 2%, that's 27% buff, okay? That's a 27% buff, which is kind of a lot, but when you look at it, right, compared to a Megalodon, right, when they're at just max level of 306 at an event, right, they are automatically doing 83% more damage than a free to play. without even trying, just by being the levels, okay? And that's not including all the bonds you get, right? Like all the bonds you get for, let's say if you have like, you know, you have like a decked out Vega and you have a decked out, what are the bonds at? You have a decked out Gan and a trendy Akuma, then you get the crit damage bonus, you get the attack bonus. We're not including all that, right? Because that stuff also adds up, but it adds up like 3% here, 3% there, so it's not too bad. Actually, maybe it is, but I'm not putting that into calculations, right? There's a lot of numbers in this game, okay? So, and how much did I spend for these levels? Okay, so not only are you getting damage from just the raw EX levels, right? Not the raw exponential power levels from just a higher level, right? But you get a higher cap too. Like, you cannot get a higher level in this game unless you have more triple S's, which is kind of messed up, I think, right? But I'm not at that point yet. I'll get there eventually, right? For example, every SSS I have, right? And, you know, basically every, like, legendary character you buy is another SSS. Every SSS you got, right? It increases your cap by 5 levels. Every 10 levels gives you 1 level per event. So basically every 2 legendaries you have is 1 more level per event, which is not a lot. You think it's not a lot, right? And it's very expensive. Okay, so, and like, I don't have a lot of SSS. I mean, I do, right? But like, when you look at the grand scheme of things, like, I don't have all the div SSS. I don't have all the special summon SSS, right? Those are really, really expensive, right? And like, every one of those, every 2 SSS of those gives you 1 event level, which is hilarious at how little that gives you, but it's hilarious at how expensive that is and how it's needed if you want that extra boost. And it's a lot. It's like 2% per 1 level, or 2%. Yeah, 2% per 1 level. It's kind of a lot, right? So even if you get rid of all my legendaries right now, right, which is -9 legendaries because I still have Blanca, that's -45 levels, which means my cap is 500. Okay, so eventually I'll hit that cap. But like, free to play, they're stuck. Okay, they cannot get higher. They cannot get higher than 276 or 360 or whatever like their cap is, because they don't buy legendaries. They don't have enough divs or special summons to get another SSS. They're effectively capped at whatever base they're at. While free to play and Dolphins, right, they have essentially a higher cap they can hit, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is, right? And like, for me, you know, you buy all the legendaries, right, which is like $50 per, except for Flame Chun-Li. All right, so let's just count 8 of them plus all the grants I buy, right? So like, you know, like Vega, Richanda, what other grants came out? I don't remember, right? Summer Elena, right? All those grants and the legendaries, right? Let's just say I spent about $600, $700 for those characters, right? Because I don't really buy special summon tickets. I don't buy deals with money, right? I just like solely buy them with gems, okay? But you know, like a Megalodon or like a whale, right? They probably just buy every special summon ticket possible. They probably buy the character when it comes out immediately, right? So I'm guessing they spent a minimum of 10 grand on this account strictly on characters, okay? For 83% more power. It's a lot of power. It's also a lot of money, right? So honestly, ultimately, I didn't have to buy the legendary tickets. I did not have to. I'll be honest with you. I don't have to buy any of these characters. Any of these characters. Only one you need to buy is this one. Only one that matters is this one, and at a discount, 25 bucks. Now, if you didn't wait and you bought her immediately when she first came out like a year ago, 100 bucks. I was like, you know what? I'll just wait. So I think I bought her at $29.99, right? And then she came out like half a year later for $25, I think. Okay, so even if I lose these 9 characters, right, I still don't hit the cap yet on my monument. So it's not that bad, okay? So I definitely could have saved on the money without buying legendaries, but let's be real, I kind of think the legendary units are kind of cool. Most of them suck, but either way, I still have them. So, Fighting Heart, okay. It's very, very hard to gauge a Fighting Heart level, because Fighting Heart, it's really hard to see backwards and forward. Like what's the difference between a level 40 and a level 80 and a level 100 and a 120? Right? Like, you can't see this unless you can have other accounts to compare, right? So I had a friend that had multiple accounts, and we were looking at specifically this here, because Fire Aidon uses the Assassin tree or the Vicious tree. Okay, so I effectively do about 15% attack bonus, right? And my attack up here, right, is like 27,000. His was at level 70, like his was like 10 levels less or something like that. Like He was like 60 something, and this was like 19,000 or something. So mine was basically 50% stronger. Okay, and this was 10%. This was 10%, and this was like 19,000. Okay, and a level 40, okay, a level 40 fighting heart, this was like 5%. Okay, so I can't even imagine what a level like 120 is. Okay, I can't imagine this. This is probably 25% or 30%, right? So I just threw in numbers there, right? Like my friends low level account 5%, my account 15%, the Megalodon probably 30%, right? And that's just the percentage. That's not including the attack. So I'm probably missing a lot of power here. So that's why this is what we have here. Dolphin does 27% more damage than a free to play, and like Uber Whale does 83%, and like free to play probably get a 5% boost on Fighting Heart. I get a 15% boost, and you know whales get like 130%, right? Oh, okay. Now, we're not counting price into this, right? Because that's factored in through EXP. That's factored in through the characters that they bought, right? Because you know we'll all eventually get the what's the faith gems, right? Now you could buy faith gems by like buying other things, but you know they will come eventually, right? Like you don't have to like level up this or this, right? All you need to do is level up these two. Honestly, all you really need to do is level up this one, honestly. But either way, that's beside the point. Now, Flame Chung here. Flame Chung. Let's look at Flame Chung here. Flame Chung. I paid 30 bucks for this. All right. Now, if you were lucky, you paid 25. Okay, but I'll just put 30 bucks, whatever, right? 30 bucks. Okay. And you know, Impatient People, when Flame Chung came out, she was 100 bucks. Let's just say the whales paid for 100 bucks for her. Okay. How much damage does she actually give you? What's the multiplier on this that she gives you? So let's take a look at this. Flame Chun-Li here. Okay. At 50 stacks, they reduces their defense by, well, 50 stacks is so 25% defense, and they take increase of 1.5% more per stack, so they take 75% more damage. They take 75% more flame damage. Okay. Plus, for 6 cars, guaranteed crit. Once you hit 50 stacks on one enemy, every hit you do is a crit. Every hit you do is a crit. I have not seen otherwise. Okay, and you do 100% more. And you do 100% more flame damage. You do 100% more flame damage. Okay, you do guaranteed crit, and if you over crit, it adds into crit damage, which it tells you like it's kind of funny right here. If you go over the crit rate, it converts into a small amount of crit damage. I'm not calculating that. It's too hard to calculate. I'm not even sure what that is, right? So not only do you do guaranteed crit plus whatever over crit you do, plus 100% flame damage, you also do, they also reduces their flame defense, or reduces their defense, and it increases your flame damage by 7%. And where is it here? Crit rate boost is reduced by 1% for every flat. Crit rate boost is reduced by, okay, that's something else. Every time flame penetration is inflicted, target's crit resist is reduced by 1%. 50% reduced crit resist. I don't even know how to calculate that. I don't even know what crit resist does. Okay, but either way, I'm just counting the 75% and the 100%. Okay, I'm just counting those two. Okay, I'm not counting the crit. All right, it's like I'm already critting so much, right? I don't even know how to calculate all that. Okay, so already Flame Chun-Li is doing 3.5 times more damage. Okay, which is 400% more damage. Wait, is that right? Is that even right? How am I doing this? It's 3.5 times more damage. That's about right. She's doing 3%, and that's what I'm not even counting the defense and the crit resist. Okay, so I have a feeling it's much higher, but that's just the minimum number I'm adding here. Okay, now the 1.2%. What's the 20% more damage here? I'm just saying that if you're not using Flame Chun-Li, then you're probably using some other C2 like buffer, right? Like Rose, or you know, the new Makoto or whatever, right? So I'm just saying, like, you don't have Flame Chun-Li, you're probably getting 20% boost somewhere else, okay? Because that's gonna be rolls right there. But if you're using Flame Chun-Li, you're getting at least 3 times more damage. At least 3 times more damage. Okay. EX Akuma. Now, EX Akuma is low-key pretty good. I don't think a lot of people realize, okay? So now everyone has EX Akuma, right? This one's free to play. But if you have 3 stars, you get 5% more soul and flame damage. Who cares about the soul damage? Let's look at the flame damage here. you get 5% more per stack, which is 15% more flame damage. And it's not additive, it's multiplicative. All right, it doesn't add on to the normal base. Like how I don't even know how you even calculate that, right? But you get 7%, at 2 stars you get 7% more per stack, right? So you already get 21% more damage. Plus, or times, 15% more flame damage. You think about that, that's a lot more damage. That's actually a lot more damage, right? And for 4 stars, it goes up to 4 stacks, right? That means you get 28% plus 20%, or times 20%. And if you get 5 stars, okay, not only do these stats up here get higher, right? This goes to like 10% or something like that. I don't even know, right? But you get 28% base damage, 28% fire damage, okay? Multiplicatively with each other. So you look at this, right? Free to play, all right? They get, you know, they probably at 2 stars, right? By now they're 2 stars, right? They get, you know, 7 times 3. They get 21% plus whatever 4% base that they get on the regular whatever attack bonus, right? That's like a minimum. They get 4% like minimum attack bonus for just hitting 2 stars, okay? Or maybe even 3.2%, whatever, right? I'll just say 4%. Okay, now if you're like me and 3 stars, okay, you get the 7 times the 4, which is 28%, plus the 5 times the 3, which is 15%, plus the 6%, times the 6%, you actually can do 42% more damage. You do at least 40% more damage, okay? Now, if you max it out, okay, and I don't know how much it costs us to max it out. Maxing it out is actually pretty expensive, okay? You get 7 times 4 times 7 times 4 times 9, okay? You actually do 62% more damage. Now, 62% more damage on an EX is permanent. It's permanent. It's not 10 seconds. It lasts forever, okay? It's quite insane. This is low key. This is low key hidden secret. It's really, really good, okay? EX Rage, same thing, right? EX Rage, let me see. Where's EX Rage at? Let me find it really quick. Here we go. EX Rage. There's attack bonus at 3 stars, 8%. I think it goes like 10, like 8%, and then 1 star is like 4%, and then like 10 stars or 5 stars is like 10% or 12%. I'm not sure, right? But the big difference here is the 3-star version. 3-star versions, while it's active, every 1% you lose, you get an additional 0.2%. So basically, if you're at 1 life, right, which is basically 99% health gone, you get, how much is that? You get about 19.8%, right? 99% times 0.2% is 19.8%. 19.8% plus the additional 12% is what, 32%? Is that right? About like 31.8%. Okay, which is a lot of damage. 31% plus a 10% crit. Is it 10% crit? It's 10% crit. It's a lot of damage. Okay, so let's calculate this here. EX Rage, I would say, if you're free to play, is it 3 stars? Maybe. I'm just gonna say it's 2 stars, right? So 2 stars, you know, you get the 4% attack boost just for having the EX, right? Plus the 12%, so you're gonna get 16% more damage, right? But a Dolphin's gonna get 29% more damage because of that 1% health thing, right? Because let's be real, people right now are running EX Virgil, which makes their life at 1%. Well, actually, if you're higher EX Virgil than it, then he gets a little bit of life. He gets healed, so he gets more like it's less, but whatever, right? And a Megalodon, same thing, right? They get a little bit more because of the base, right? So, but how much does it actually cost to get an EX? I would say, since you get 3 scrolls every $5, that means 300 scrolls would cost $500. That means 300 scrolls is like, you might get to 3 stars if you're lucky. All right, because it costs, every 50 scrolls gives you 1, and it costs 350 scrolls to hit 3 stars. And if you want to hit 5 stars, I lost count. I'm just gonna run off to $1,000, right? And that's if you're just impatient, right? So I'm gonna guess every 5-star EX costs at least $1,000. At least $1,000, right? And I ain't gonna go for that, right? I'm not that impatient. I'll wait to get the stars, right? So we're gonna slowly calculate the money of how much it costs to get to where, and that's just the minimum, right? We're not saying that's the maximum. That's the minimum, okay? But free to play, you can definitely hit 3-star Akuma. You can definitely hit 3-star EX Rage. It takes time and it takes patience and it takes some discipline to not spend those scrolls on other things, right? But you kind of want to save on scrolls because why? We'll get there to EX Virgil and EX Turtle, all right? We'll get there. But let's talk about Valiance here. Valiance here, okay? 10% more damage. 10% damage. What is this? What is this? What is this move? Valiance, 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 Valiance. Where is my Valiance at? It is here. Valiance. You can't get this normally. You have to buy this. You have to buy this like you have to buy Flame Chun-Li. You have to buy this, okay? What this does is it gives your strongest fighter, and you can tell which one's your strongest fighter, right? Every time you use Akuma, the little Akuma symbol will show up on your strongest fighter. So, you know, it helps to know, right? They get 10% boost for 7 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever, or however long your level is, right? So 10% damage. How much does it cost to get this? I think you can only get them from Treasure Hunt. Where's my Treasure Hunt? You can only get this from Treasure Hunt, and it only shows up sometimes. Okay. It's really annoying how this shows up, right? It's just like Tyrant, okay? But I think it ended up costing me, I think $35, right? The packaging is a little different now, so like whatever, right? I think I only bought it when it was like 1,000% bonus, right? I'm not gonna pay for it when if it's like 500% bonus. That's just throwing my money away, right? So I think I actually waited until like the packages were like extra high value. So I think I spent $35 to actually get Valiance, right? So $35, 10% damage. Is it worth it? Up to you, right? 10% damage is not a lot, right? Now Flame Chun-Li is like 3 times more damage, right? Which is like 250% minimum, okay? That costed $30. Think about this, right? Chun-Li costed $30, costing me $30 to get at least 3 times more damage, and $35 for 10% more damage, not worth it, right? But either way, up to you. Now let's talk about EX Virgil and EX Turtle. EX Virgil, EX Turtle here. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at these two extremely strong EX, best EX moves in the game by far. Okay. What this does, and what EX Virgil does, you just can't die. You just can't die. Where does it say it? Where does it say that? I don't even know where it says that. Here it goes. Granting them damage immunity for 2 seconds. Damage immunity for 2 seconds. 2 seconds is not a lot. Does it even get higher than 2 seconds? 2 seconds? No, it's 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds goes like that. But if you have EX Virgil, where's my EX Virgil at? Here, EX Virgil. 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Now, if you have 5 stars, if you have 4 stars, then it goes to like. If you have 3 stars, it goes to 5 seconds. Wow, that's huge. That's actually kind of huge. Whatever. 3 seconds. Okay. What does this mean? What does it mean when you can't die? I mean, what else can it mean, right? You just don't die, right? You get, in a boss fight, you get another cycle. You get another cycle with Fire Adon. And you know Fire Adon, his damage ramps up the longer he lives. Okay? It just exponentially skyrockets, right? The first 30 seconds of the fight, he does nothing. The next 30 seconds of the fights, he does something. The last 30 seconds of the fight, he does insane damage, okay? So, EX Virgil, EX Turtle. It means you get at least one more cycle. You might even get 2 cycles. Let's be real here, right? Some bosses, they hit one guy. Some bosses, they might not even do anything for one of the specials, right? So, what does 1 or 2 cycles means? It means you do at least 40% more damage. That's what it means. You do at least 40% more damage, okay? You don't do 100% more damage. Sometimes you might. If you get like 2 or 3 cycles, you do 100% more damage, right? This is why EX Virgil and EX Turtle is so important. This is why I need to save my EX scrolls. I always have at least 100 EX scrolls, okay? All right. EX Turtle, I needed 350 EX scrolls. I saved 350 EX scrolls just for a collab, okay? Now my EX Turtle is 3 stars. Does it need to be 3 stars? It does not need to be 3 stars. It actually only needs to be 0 stars because EX Virgil, you need 2 stars. Wait, do I need 2 stars? No, EX Virgil, you didn't even need 2 stars. I needed 2 stars for the extra heal at the end, but whatever, right? That's not important. Important part is you don't die, okay? So honestly, just save 50 scrolls. Just save 50 scrolls at all times so that when a collab comes out, okay, you can actually get the EX move. Now, how much does it cost? It costed me nothing because I always had 50 scrolls at all times. I always have 50 scrolls, right? But if you're free to play, or if you joined late, okay, or let's just be real, you don't even have Flame Chun, right? So this is actually kind of useless for you. But let's just replace this with some other EX. Let's just replace this with some other EX move, right? Like that you have, because if you don't have that, you're gonna throw in some other EX move, right? So we'll just throw that in. You'll do 10% more because you're just throwing in some other EX move, right? Wait, hold on, let me see this. We're gonna leave this at 1.4, 1.4. Okay, cool. Because I'm gonna assume you're doing 40% more damage with EX Virgil or EX Troll. Automatically assume you're doing at least 40% more damage, okay? Vergil Assist. Now this one is a little complicated. This one is actually complicated. This guy wasn't Vergil Assist. Let me just, this thing is actually a little ridiculous. Okay, Vergil. Now, I recently just made my Virgil SS for strictly for his assist. I always had him at A. I had him at A for the longest time, right? Now, I had to blow 7 starlights on him. I had to blow 7 starlights on him. Now, by the now, right, if you had not spent a single starlight, which I had not, I had 14 starlights. So by now, everyone should have at least 14 starlights, right? If they've been receiving starlights since the beginning of the game. 14 starlights. I used 7 starlights just to make him SS. Why? Okay. This guy makes it so you cannot die for 4 seconds as an assist. Now, why did this recently become a thing? Why did his assist started become a thing recently? So, EX Turtle makes it so you can't lose health, okay? Now, why wasn't this a thing before? Before we had EX Virgil. When you EX Virgil, right? When you use EX Virgil, right? And you had Vergil Assist, they both proc at the same time, which makes his assist useless, right? However, once EX Turtle came out, his assist does not proc until his HP actually goes down to 1. So, EX Turtles enabled this assist, which is kind of crazy, right? Now, if you don't have this one, then everyone's running like, you know, EX Ryu, Evil Ryu, so they get the 20% boost, right? But 20% boost is not bad, right? But when you talk about Vergil Assist, you get to live 4 seconds longer when everyone else is dead, okay? Does it equal to 20% more damage? It equals more, okay? From what I realized, it equals way more, okay? Because Fire Adon, he does more damage the longer he's alive, right? Now, just the fact that you EX Turtle, or you EX Turtle, everyone lives. Cool. You get 1 more cycle, okay? And then you Breath of Rage while everyone else is dead, and Adon's at 1% life. Adon is at 1% life, living for 4 more seconds, and possibly way longer, right? Because you gotta wait for the boss to attack you again, you know what I mean? That's like at least like 8 seconds, right? So you're 8 seconds on the last few moments of the boss fight. Well, let's be real, you're probably at 80 seconds in already, right? Adon's doing extreme damage, massive damage, at least 40% more damage, okay? This is why Vergil Assist is so good, okay? Unfortunately, if you don't have EX Turtle, if you don't have EX Virgil, you don't have Vergil Assist, it's gonna be kind of rough to compete on the leaderboards, honestly. Now, you can still compete. You're probably not gonna hit number 1 unless no one else has these guys, which is fair, right? But if you have these guys, it is insane amount of damage, okay? So I'm gonna say right here, EX Virgil, 40% more damage, okay? Rich Honda, if you have normal A grade Rich Honda, that's fine. But if you have SSS Rich Honda, you get more meter, which I feel like his 6 card procs like, let me find his 6 card. I feel like it's procs at least 3 times in a fight, okay? And you get more meter. That means you get at least 600 more meter, okay? The crit rate of everyone's raised by 20%, okay? So, is it important? Yes. Is it necessary? No. But if you want to compete, it's pretty important, right? So that's why I put he does 60%, he does 20% more damage than anyone. Now, how does this relate to overall damage? Now, let's take a look here. If your normal team does 500 million, which is right here, that means you're completed. Okay, I mean completed, right? Like you have Fighting Heart, you have Flame Chun, you have EX Akuma at level 3 at least, you have EX Turtle, you have Vergil Assist, you have Rich Hunt, you have all the key parts to make your team go boom. You're gonna do at least 7 billion. You're gonna do at least 7. And then if you have the Stellarion, let's take a look at this. If you have whatever workshop or Stellarion, all right, I actually just think the Stellarion is pretty cool, right? If you have this optimized, right? Thank you, Don Buka. You gave me the ultimate strategy guide for this. All right, so if whatever workshop you have or whatever this is, if that's decked out, right, you're gonna do more damage, right? So, but let's just assume that everyone's running the same thing because the meta moves kind of fast, honestly. So that's why I'm able to hit 10 billion, okay, because of the Stellarion, okay. But let's look at this, right? Let's look at this. 7 billion, that seems pretty. 7.3 billion, that's really high, right? Is this really true? Is this really true? Now let's compare with your account here. Let's compare some accounts here. Let's say your EX Akuma. Let's say your EX Akuma is it's not 3 stars. Let's say it's 2 stars, right? So it's 1.6, 1.26, right? Let's say your EX Rage. Let's say you don't have Valiance, right? That's a 1 there. Let's say you don't have Vergil Assist. Let's say you have Mayor Cody, 1.15. Let's say your Rich Honda, let's say you don't have Rich Honda. Let's say your Rich Honda is at an A grade. Let's say it's not triple S, right? Okay, well, you don't get the 20% bonus, right? Now you're doing 4 billion. Wait a second. I'm missing 1? Oh, I completely forgot about 20 cards. I completely forgot about this here. Let's slow down. Let's back up here. Let's back up. Let's back up here. Okay. 36 cards. I'm gonna slow down here. 36 cards. What? 36 cards? Yes. 36 cards. My Fire Aidon has 33 cards, I think, right? I think these two are not decked. These two in the middle are not finished because I don't care about this. But these two right here, it's 20% more damage. That's a. So that means you need 30 more extra cards to even get around to these, okay? Now I don't care about this. 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 All I care about is this and this, okay? So, and how much? I mean, it seems a little crazy, right? Honestly, it's not, right? If you look at all my characters here, a lot of these characters, I don't really. They don't even need cards, right? Like let's be real here. Who actually needs cards? Okay, a lot of them actually do need cards. Yang probably doesn't need cards. Well, he probably does, right? Dalton probably doesn't need cards. Maybe he does, right? She doesn't have cards yet. Blanca doesn't really need cards. Jory probably doesn't need cards. Sagat needs cards. Borg probably doesn't need cards. She needs cards. Cammy probably doesn't need cards. Dan probably doesn't need cards. He probably doesn't need cards. He probably doesn't need cards. Like, it is, like, it's not hard to just not blow your cards on useless characters, right? So, is it possible to get 30 cards on Fire Aidon? Yes. Is it risky? It's extremely risky, but I buy the Crusade grants, so that's probably why I have a lot of, like, that's why I had the video of 1 million workshop tokens, which gave me enough cards, honestly, to just fill them up, and, you know, every like X card you get a free, like, triple S car item. So it wasn't too hard for me. I mean, it did cost, like, let me see how much. Since I buy the grants every month, and the grants are like, I think 10 and 15, so 25. So $25 after like a year is like 300 bucks at least, right? So I definitely spent 300 bucks just on Crusade grants, okay? So, but if you were to buy cards alone, they're 50 bucks a car. So 30 cards times 50 bucks is $1,500. So if you're impatient, just buy 30 cards, put them on 8 on, whatever. 20% more damage. Now let's go back to the overall final damage values here, okay? Now let's say your Akuma is 2 stars, 1.26. You don't have Valiance, all right? You don't have Vergil Assist. Let's just say it's really easy for not. Vergil Assist is pretty rare, right? Let's be real. Your Rich Honda is not SSS. You don't have 36 cards. You're probably gonna do 3 billion damage. Maybe. Probably a little more, right? Probably a little more. Maybe 4 billion, right? So let me see. Vergil Assist. No. Instead of Vergil Assist, you probably have like a Mayor Cody Assist instead, right? So there you go. There's your 3 billion right there, okay? Instead of 36, instead of Rich Honda, no, Rich Honda's fine. You probably have EX Turtle. You're probably gonna need this. Your EX Rage is probably 2 stars. Flame Chum for sure. Fighting Heart, yeah. Do about 6 times more damage, maybe 5, maybe like 8 times more damage, right? But once you start getting 36 cards, Vergil Assist, all right, Rich Honda SSS, Valiance, all right, EX Kuma 3 stars, and that's not including EX Guile, right? EX Guile also does monumental damage in certain fights that fits in, right? Now I don't have EX Guile at 3 stars. My EX Guile is at like 2 stars, I think. So it still has a ways to go. But you know, I'm patient. I'll wait, right? You can hit 7.3 billion. It seems a ridiculously high number, but is it a ridiculously high number? When I look at this and I'm like, I did 10 billion on one boss fight. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This actually doesn't make sense. Okay. Now, if you're a Megalodon, right, then you can probably hit at least 13 billion. At least 16 billion, including the Stellarion. You probably hit like near 20 billion, honestly, right? But I don't have an account that like that. Maybe one day I'll decked out everything. Maybe in like 5 years, if this game still exists, then I'll probably hit like 20 billion on a fight. Who knows, right? Maybe power creep will happen next year, and like we'll just hit 30 billion without a decked out account, whatever, right? But ultimately, now let's look at how much this costs, right? Let's gauge how much it costs and what's actually the ultimate value here to get the highest amount of damage without like spending thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Now, characters, you don't have to buy every character. Like I didn't have to buy every legendary. Let's be real here, right? All right, divs, you know, they'll happen eventually, right? Hopefully your Bison's divved out, right? And hopefully your Rose or your Jury's divved out because, you know, you can buy them from the shops with like regular currency. But everything else, you don't really need a triple S, right? So you might be capped at like 280, which is fine, honestly, right? Because I'm at 288. So who cares, right? Or 480, right? You might be capped at 450. That's still fine, okay? So you don't have to spend money on characters. The only money you have to spend on is Flame Chun-Li. Flame Chun-Li, okay? Flame Chun-Li. Ultimately, that's all that matters, right? Fighting Heart, you'll slowly get Fighting Heart regardless, right? You just get the Faith Gems from doing Crusades all day. So that will happen, right? EX Akuma, free to play. You can definitely hit 3 stars. It takes some time. Save 50 just in case you might miss out on EX Turtle. That's fine, okay? Don't spend any money on EX Scrolls. Don't spend any money on EX Rage. Valiance, 10% for $30, $35, $40, however much it costs. 10%, is that worth it? 10% for just that much? I don't know. Is it worth it? EX Turtle, EX Rage, EX whatever helps you not die. Absolutely mandatory. Absolutely mandatory if you want to compete. If you want to compete, you don't need, well, actually, no, you do need this, right? You kind of do need this, right? 40% is a lot. If you're doing like 2 billion, that means 40% is like another 400 million. So if 2 billion goes to 2 point, is that even right? 2 billion, 50% would be 1 billion, 40% would be 8 billion. No, 800 million, I'm sorry. So that means 2 billion goes to 2.8 billion. Okay, yeah, 40% is pretty important, right? Now, you can still compete with that EX Virgil. You might not hit top 10. Maybe you would. Who knows, right? Depends on your battle group, right? But Flame Chun is the ultimate important here. Flame Chun, you get like 3.5 times more damage minimum, right? Now, the other big multipliers here, EX Akuma, right? Which are free to play. You can hit 3 stars, right? Vergil Assist. If you missed out on him, it's gonna be tough, honestly. But it's okay because you can still use like Mayor Cody, maybe Evil Ryu Assist, right? Evil Ryu's kind of hard to get, right? He's an SS character, so Mayor Cody's not bad. Put a Fashion Blanca here. He gives decent damage boost as well. Not as good as Evil Ryu, not as good as Vergil Assist, but still good, right? EX Virgil, EX Turtle. If you miss out on that, I'm gonna say it's gonna be kind of tough. Save 50 scrolls. Hopefully, there's a collab coming in the future that makes you not die as well. It'll only buff other teams that already have these assists, but still, the most important one is basically the meta of Rich Honda, Fire Adon, Street Poison, Flame Chun-Li. That's the most important assist. Let's be real here. All right. Rich Honda, I would say it's kind of important to get him to SSS. He gives you that 20% boost at least, right? The 20% crit. The extra meter enables some extra damage at the end. I think he does at least 20% more damage and more because of the extra meter you can get. So I think he is not free to play friendly because he's an SS character, but let's be real, what else are you gonna SSS other than Vega and him? So I would say he's free to play ish, okay? And you get Starlights too, so would I recommend using Starlights on him? No, but get him an SSS, yes, for now at least. 36 cars, wow, man, that's a tall order, okay? Getting 30 cars on one character is a lot, but it just means you're sacrificing 5 characters that you're not gonna use anyways, right? So 20% for 30 cars is quite expensive for what it is, but if you could save it, do it, okay? So ultimately, I would say EX Virgil, Vergil Assist, EX Akuma, Flame Chun is all you really need to get like the maximum damage output, honestly, right? And levels, of course, right? But levels is honestly the most expensive and the hardest things to get, okay? But over time, your account will progress and you will get more levels, right? So but yeah, ultimately this is it, right? Like how am I doing so much more damage than this account? I don't get it. I'm the same team, right? No, it is the same team, but I have 30 cars, right? I got SS Rich Honda, I got a Vergil Assist, I got EX Turtle, I got Valiance, right? My EX Akuma is like 3 stars, right? So like I'm just doing so much more damage, right? Like way more damage, right? So it makes sense. Now is that it? I think that's it. So if you're ever wondering why someone running the same team is doing so much more damage than you, then honestly, just look at their account, okay? Look at their levels, okay? Now, it's gonna be hard to look at their EX levels, right? Because when you look at if you look at like a replay or something like that, and you look at the stats, and you look at like, ooh, Flame Wind, look at that. If you look at like their EX levels, right, there's a bug right now so that if you look at their EX levels, it's showing the same as yours, which is kind of annoying because you actually don't know what they're running. All you know is that they're running these 3 EXs, but you don't know their levels, right? Because I don't think Flame Wind is running a level 20 EX Guile. My EX Guile is level 20, so it's basically showing you what your level is. So, but other than that, look at, like, you can't see if they have 30 cards, right? It's kind of annoying because it doesn't show you everything, all right? All you see is their fighting heart. You don't see their bonds, all right? You see the EXs, you see the levels, you see their cards, you see they're running FS30s, but you don't know what else, right? You can see that they're running Valiance, all right? But you don't know what EX, but you don't, honestly, you don't know the important stuff, right? You don't know what bonds they have. You don't know what the level of their EX Rage or the EX Akuma is at, okay? You don't know if they have 30 cards, okay? So it's a big multipliers you're missing here, okay? So let me just get rid of this. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Let's put this at like level 2 or something like that. Let's put this at level 2 as well. Right? Fighting heart is honestly kind of hard to tell, but that means how much more damage am I missing here? That's like half almost. Wait, 4.8 to 7.2? It's like 50% more damage. Is that right? That's what, 2.4? Yeah. Yeah, that's like 50% more damage. See, just from the information you cannot see, right? 36 cards. Valiant, oh, not Valiance. EX Rage, EX Kuma, right? These EXs, right? Plus 36 cards. That's 50% more damage that I cannot see. I just can't see. All right, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Like, how is this guy doing more damage than me? I'm running the exact same comp. I'm running the exact same timing, right? I ran this 1,000 times, right? So the RNG is not a factor, okay? It's basically the EX moves, which you cannot see here because this screen is bugged. It won't show you their true levels, right? You can't see that 36 cards, right? These numbers, I'm not making this up. I think the multiplicative factor of this is correct, okay? The percentages might be slightly off by like 1 to 5% maybe, right? I don't think I'm off that much, but I do think the scaling is correct, right? So whatever number you're getting, all right, just look at the stuff you're missing, okay, from this chart, and just add like whatever to it, right? And you can see what your potential is, what potential you're missing, right? The biggest potential I noticed that people are missing, EX Akuma, 36 cards. And these two, like everyone could see, right? So like you can see if they don't have EX Virgil, okay, they know what they're missing, right? But you don't know if you're missing an EX Akuma. If you don't know if you're missing EX Rage, kind of hard to tell, right? Fighting heart's really hard to distinguish, like what a level 120 fighting heart is to a level 80 fighting heart. I don't know. It's probably 30% more damage. I don't know, right? But ultimately, that is what ultimately factors in how much damage you're doing, and this ultimately factors how much cost your minimum spending if you want to even get to that point, right? Like, I don't have to buy any of these legendaries, honestly, right? I don't have to buy Valiance, honestly, but you know, you could all you need is levels and Flame Chun-Li, and that's it, really. So you want to be super efficient, just don't buy cars. Don't buy cars, right? Just don't use cars on useless characters. Right? Buy Valiance, maybe. Hell, don't even buy Valiance, right? Forget the 10%. Forget the 10%. Whatever, right? 10% does annoy me. It does annoy me, actually. But just buy Flame Chun-Li. Buy Flame Chun-Li, level up, get 36 cards, level EX Akuma. You're done. You're done. Top 10 events, easy. And that's how you get a ridiculous score on events. Now for PvP, you know, all you need are levels, Vega, Trendy Akuma, Trendy Ryu. Okay. Goken, Turtles, call it a day, you win. The new Bison, whatever, right? Either way. Guys, I hope you learned something. This has been a 44-minute video. I've tried to explain this much quicker. I guess I can't, but I'll see you later. Have a good night.